Good evening and welcome to Hot News. We are live on Pan-African Television. We're also live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We are live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. You can join in the conversation by sending your views, comments and contributions on a WhatsApp text line displayed on the screen. You can as well leave your suggestions, questions and whatnot on our social media pages. We'll make a time and read all those up for you. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can share the Facebook Live for other people to also get an opportunity to watch tonight's edition of the program. Tonight on Hot News, we are discussing fight against galamsey. We know that government has put in measures in order to curb the menacing problem in the country. One of those are the banning of excavators, the creation of some task force to deal with the issue, and the interministerial committee, that was formed by government and all of that. But are we seeing progress in the fight against galamsey in the country? That's what we'll be looking at on the program this evening. We'll also be looking at vigilantism and all of that. You all know that, once again, they've done their thing again, and it's really bringing a lot of issues in the country. And so we're looking at these two issues on the program. I'll be joined in the studio by Mr. George Ayisi, Director of Communications, NADMO, and also a member of the New Patriotic Party Communications team. Mr. Ayisi, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, by grace.
Also in the studio is Delali Sokpo, who is a member of the National Democratic Congress Communications team. Dela, good evening.
Good evening, Justice.
How are you?
Justice, we are managing.
You're managing?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, in your own preamble, if you have the resurfacing of the issue about vigilante and a whole lot of fuel price increase and cost of living skyrocket, and obviously, you don't expect we to be, happy. Recently there was a ranking about the most happiest country in the world, and Ghana have, performed abysmally. It's all indication that things are really not panning out to be pretty good. So, it's not pleasant, but we can just thank God that once we are alive and breathing, we can thank God for His mercy and His divine selection.
All right, okay, thank you so much, Dela, for your submission. If you're watching us on Facebook, once again, you can share the live stream for other people to also get an opportunity to watch tonight's edition of the program. You can leave suggestions, questions, and whatnot on a social media page on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Pan-African Television. We'll make a time and read all those. Keep your messages coming in on our WhatsApp text line as well. We will read all those messages. Now, I'll start with you, Mr. Ayisi. How far with the fight against galamsey?
Thank you, Justice. Good evening to yourself, my colleague. Good evening to our viewers. The fight against galamsey is on course. The young Minister for Lands and Natural Resources is very much shown that he's very much committed to the persistent fight. His Excellency the President is also shown that he is unreservedly committed to succeeding of a fight against galamsey, and hence the deployment of a team to undertake the Operation Halt by about 200 military men who have been deployed along the Pra River, and to go and enforce the laws governing the stopping of the illegal mining activities along the banks of our water bodies, and then in the water bodies. We all can testify or attest to the fact that our water bodies are so much polluted that lives of fishes are virtually dead in the water bodies because of the pollution. Presence of oxygen in the water body is going to be near zero, and so it cannot sustain the lives of fish and other living organisms. And so that is one thing that it's not good for us. Again, you look at the forest reserves too. The exploitations going on in our forest reserves, and the way they are devastating our forest reserves, all in the name of galamsey. It's not good. Today, is it today or yesterday, the minister aboard a heli went round to have an aerial view of the damage and the destruction that Galamsey is causing to the water bodies and then our environment in general, especially our forest reserves, and it's nothing good to write home about. And so once we've put our right foot forward, determined to succeed at the fight, I think, especially in this phase 2 of the fight, I've seen the commitment of the minister, I've seen the persistence of the president, and then the military force that has been tasked to go and then enforce the rules of engagement. They are seriously doing their work. We will also tell the people who are engaged in the illegal mining to be careful, because it's a serious thing that the country is faced with, especially the future. Our cocoa farms are being cut off, and then, you know, the place is being mined. Our water bodies virtually destroyed, cyanide and mercury and others going in. The rules that says about 100 meters away from the banks of the rivers, no mining activity should go on, is being flouted. And so with this enforcement strategy...
you see, people are of the view that measures taken by government so far to prevent galamsey in the country, you know, are cosmetics, because government knows persons who are behind some of these galamsey, you know, sites and all of that. You are not tackling the root, cause of this problem, rather than, you know, chasing the wind by painting a picture as though you're fighting galamsey. How would you react to that?
How is government chasing knowing the best? So I'm in my house.
People are view that there are some government officials who are deeply involved in this.
That's propaganda talk. So let's leave that. Let's get the fight going. On the field, what is happening? That's the most important aspect. I heard some machines belonging to our National Women Organizer has been set ablaze. I disagree with that process, because I know she's a minor, okay, and they have a legitimate concession. So,
are you denying on this platform that government officials are not involved in galamsey in this country?
Anyone. I've heard it. I don't know A or B. If you can show me A, B, C, D are involved in it, fine. I wouldn't, and you give me the evidence, I wouldn't argue with you. But if you just want to pander to the propaganda arena, I would disagree, because people say, oh, these government people are in government. Which government people? Everybody has a name. My name is George A.C. If I'm involved, mention it and say, in this Appiah forest at this point, my mining concession is there, my boys are working there, okay? Then you name and shame. You have the evidence to prove it. Then we go. But you don't just say it and then we go and sleep and nobody is pointed out, okay? And so, but the truth is, I agree, there are politicians involved, okay?
And who are those politicians
involved? Because there's been a case some time ago that when Yunus Husseini was fighting it, he got certain DCE who had money stashed under his table when they came to Central Region. He and Samuel Sapon, Honorable then Regional Minister for Central Region, and you know, they arrested some people and said they were permitted by that DCE to go and do the work. Okay?
You have just admitted that your party's women organizers, excavators were banned.
Yes, I'm coming there.
How did they arrive at that point?
I'm coming there.
What happened?
I'm saying, where I saw, well, I heard the video, them talking, and her name came in, and I didn't see any water body around that place. Okay? And maybe it's a forest reserve not legitimately given to them as a concession. Because, look, I have said it time without number, that when we started the fight, we placed a moratorium on mining activities, every mining activity for 6 months, and we saw the results. The moment we lifted that and allowed the small-scale miners to get back to their work, then the challenges began. So if we are fighting, and I heard the minister say nobody's going after anybody doing legitimate mining, especially the small-scale miners, if they are obeying the rules of engagement and mining in their concession, okay, and not affecting any water body. If they are doing that, let's see how. Because where I saw the machines and the vast land and co, I don't know whether it is a galamsey site or a small-scale mining site.
okay, legitimate mining site. If it is, what is the need to go and burn the excavator? I support the burning, to be honest with you.
Why do you support the burning?
Because
how sensible is it that government burns, those excavators?
The first phase, you are not to engage. That's why I said we should be able to dichotomize between the small scale and then the galamsey.
Okay.
If you're able to do that.
But granted that the excavators that are burnt, belong to those who were doing illegal mining. What's the justification for burning the excavators?
Yeah, you don't. We fought the first phase. We saw it. People said 500 excavators were missing, which wasn't true. Okay, because they were seizing it and then keeping them somewhere, and some were even taking. I understand the head. There's a name for it, and all that to disable the excavator itself, and all that. They did. People say, "Hey, we were taking it and giving it to pro-NPP miners." That was the allegation and accusations. Okay, then we say, "Okay, now we are going. Don't get involved in illegal mining." We know they use the excavator is a key machinery that is used in the exploitation of the minerals, right? And so, if we come and you are at an illegal mining site and you are using these machines, excavators and chamfine, they are on the water bodies, right? If we see any of them, we are taking them and burning them, okay? Because we don't want a situation where we say we seize it, we go and put it somewhere, somebody says it's been given to another person, allegedly pro-NPP person.
Is it legal for government to engage in that act?
Why? Why not? If you feel it's illegal, you can go to court to challenge it. The activity you are using the machine for is illegal. So it's legal to burn it. Okay? If this thing is found at an illegal site, it is an illegal thing. We cannot say you have the right to take your machines to an illegal site and mine. It's not right.
The arguments, that I have listened to so far.
I agree with those who say we should give it to whoever.
I'm just about to come to that. But now listen, the arguments that I have listened to so far has to do with the fact, look, some excavators were seized some time ago, and government officials were accused of, stealing those excavators, and so this time around they are burning the excavators. Are those arguments laudable enough?
That's why I support this argument.
So
because if at first you say they seized it, so they're supposed to keep it at the
So you would agree that government did not do its job well by seizing excavators for us not to know the whereabouts, or government is unable to account for those.
The excavators are all there. Where are they? All there. Where they showed you aviation, whatever. They showed the sites where they were packed. Okay? If one or two, there's been the allegation that one or two were found at other places being used by other people. Okay? And to avoid some of these things going forward in the launch of the phase 2 and the determination that we want to see our water bodies clear. Okay, we need to go with all.
Isn't it the responsibility of government? Isn't it the responsibility of government to make sure? And let me ask you: isn't it the responsibility of government to make sure that all seized equipment are properly handled and are used for the right activities and all of that after they are seized, rather than for government to have been saying that because the excavators that were seized earlier were not properly handled, and that some ended up in the hands of some officials, and for that reason we are not seizing excavators anymore, but we are burning it. Doesn't make sense to you, Mr. AC?
I don't see what the journalists in Ghana want to be honest with you. Because when we started and we were seizing, and then we were to be packed at district assemblies and then moved to other places, and there were challenges. Now the people are still doing it. We saw what was happening. The challenge was that the water bodies were getting worse. Okay? And then now the phase 2 is launched. And we say, no, we don't want the situation where you pass somebody, you pass the back and then go and then give the machines back to people to go back to the site and do the mining. Okay? And so they say, hey, they are going to set the machines ablaze. If you know you are somebody who owns excavators and rent them out, don't rent them out to illegal miners. Rent them out to small-scale miners who can properly account for them. Okay? I read something that Madam Kim Jemfua is going to sue government because is a legitimate something, say X gold something concession, okay? And so if it's legitimate and the military people did the thing wrongfully, then that one we must account as a state, okay? But if it is found at a place where you are not supposed to be, that one you can go to court, you will not win in any case. Okay, so that is what I say. Let's see the way we can.
Before I come to the last, how would burning of those excavators prevent people from engaging in galamsey?
Do you know the cost of that? In fact, that's the main machine they use for the exploitation of the minerals. You know that? They use the excavator as the main machinery, okay? And so if you don't have access to them, I know some people who are miners, small-scale miners who have concession. For almost a month, they've been looking for excavators to hire. They've not got some, okay? So some of these things then will make the owners be careful who to rent them out to. Because if it gets to the wrong hand and it's taken to the wrong side, it's likely to be set ablaze, okay? So that people then become careful and cautious. If they are importing the machinery and they are taking it to site as a small-scale site that you're legitimately allowed to go and mine, that's it. But if it's in galamsey, illegal activities, water bodies and co., you know when you are accosted or arrested, the machines will be bent, and it's very expensive. I understand it runs in you know 3, 4, 5 billion thereabouts, right? So you be careful when you are going to use it in a military operation.
An interministerial committee was formed.
Earlier
Task force. Well, why interministerial? I'm talking about. I mean, your first attempt.
The phase one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Your first attempt in fighting this problem.
Okay.
That was formed. A task force was also formed, you know, to make sure that we end this problem.
Yeah.
You have employed all, you know, strategies in making sure that this becomes a thing of the past, yet we are still witnessing or seeing this problem in the country. Isn't it the case that you need to change the strategy rather than, you know, holding on to, I mean, this burning of excavators, using task force and all of that?
But the first phase, nobody was burning any excavators. The first phase, nobody burnt excavators. It was under Inus of Sedi, the excavators were burnt. Okay? And then later they stopped because there was a public outcry and they stopped. And then when we launched our phase one, we didn't resort to the burning approach. We were seizing, and we saw that the ones seized were going back to the field.
How do you fight the problem when persons who are supposed to lead the fight are accused of corruption and all of that?
That's the challenge. That's been the challenge for the phase one. There's a revision and the phase two. You know, we are not using the gallant stop and, you know, vanguard people and co. Now, a team of military people have been deployed. The first team, I understand 200 is gone. And I understand there's another team of about 400. Whether they've moved or they are on standby. This one is Operation Protect the Water Bodies and then Forest Reserves. And so they are out there working round the clock. And one of the strategies they are using is the burning of the excavator approach. Because if you don't have the excavator, justice, you cannot do the mining. Okay? You cannot do effective mining. Unless, of course, the young people in the communities who dig holes and then go underground to do it. But these other people, they get the excavators.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah, well, so I personally, as of now, I understand gradually things are, you know, the water bodies are beginning to settle because we saw some Chinese people putting holes in the middle of the water, I understand, from about 1 or 2 kilometers away. Okay, they are doing their work there, washing it directly into the water bodies. And so if you get all these things out, the water bodies can be saved and then we'll make progress. It's a challenging and difficult fight, but we hope to prevail.
Viewers, you're still watching Hot News right here on Pan African Television with me, Justice Appiah. Keep your messages coming in on 0544. I think it's a 0544 number. You can keep your messages, you know, coming in. We'll make a time and read all those out for you. It is displayed on the screen. You can as well leave your suggestions, questions, and whatnot on our social media pages. We'll make a time and read all those out for you. Now let me move to Dela quickly on his take on the fight against Galamsey by this government?
Justice, good evening to your cherished wish, and good evening to my big brother, George. You see, Justice, I listened to the submission made by my big brother, and for a moment I thought he was basically speaking in reference to another country and not Ghana, because the fact, as we are all aware, does not in any way is not inconsistent with the submission that he made.
What's the fact?
Justice, when President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in spite of the fact that he dishonestly created an impression to those who were involved in Galamsey prior to the 2016
What
election.
impression did he create?
When he went to Obuasi and gave them the assurance that indeed President John Dramani Mahama was going around telling those who are within the Galamsey communities that indeed when he, President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, get the opportunity to become the president of this republic, he intends to collapse Galamsey, and out of political expediency, to make political gains or to have a political capital out of it, he went to Obuasi, a town noted for its gold, fortunes, and assured the people of Obuasi that indeed what President Mahama is saying is not true. And in fact, he intends to, he put it in a local language, what it simply means is he's going to intensify, he's going to ensure that they operate without any restriction. That is what he said when you translate what he said in Chi into English language. So that is one of the reasons why communities where Galamsey activities, goes on, that is when they repose confidence in him and elected him to become the president of the Republic of Ghana during the 2016 election.
It doesn't mean that our water bodies should be destroyed.
I'm not saying. What I'm just saying is he's just been dishonest. Because
dishonest in what way?
Being dishonest because you see, you cannot, on the altar of political expediency, just assure people who are engaged in an illegal activity that indeed when you come, you are going to allow them to operate in that illegal activity. In fact, he used the word Galamsey. We all know Galamsey is an illegal venture. And that is the exact word that he used. So a lot
that
of
narrative isn't different from that of what former President John Dramani Mahama said when he wanted the power in the 2020 elections. Unfortunately, he wasn't given.
What President Mahama said is we're going to regularize, we're going to ensure that we establish what we call commission board to ensure that the activities of
former President John Dramani Mahama could not fathom why, foreigners who are engaged in Galamsey would have to be, set free. But but Ghanaians who are engaged in Galamsey had to be arrested, and that he promised to free those persons when he was given the
statement.
How different is that from that of what former? I think
President Mahama ought to be applauded, and if possible,
applauded for what?
He sounds more nationalistic than the sitting president, because nowhere in the world that you have appointees of government or even the president of the republic who tends to elevate the interest of foreigners above his own citizens. Anywhere, any serious country will be a subject of impeachment. So what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama alluded to was the fact that you cannot be a president of a country or a minister of a country where when it comes to what you call a crime committed by your citizen, you actually make sure that they are incarcerated with the speed of light. When it has to do with expatriates or foreigners, the only thing you say is because of the benefit that you get from them, you're unable to prosecute them. So what President John Dramani Mahama was basically saying is there has been selective application of justice. Indeed, the President of the Republic of Ghana and his appointees have elevated the interest of foreigners above the interest of the good people of the Republic of Ghana. That must be stated and put within a context. Justice, let me
isn't the case that the former president was encouraging?
Absolutely not. When President John Mahama was the president of the Republic of Ghana,
what did he do specifically to?
That was one of the reasons why when President John Dramani Mahama did all possible to ensure that our water bodies. You can make a comparison. Sometimes what I always say is this: the fact speaks for itself. Under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, nowhere at a point in time did we see
such a glaring desecration of our water bodies. If indeed there was any evidence to show, to the extent that when you go to River Appiah, when you go to all the river bodies that we have in the Galamsey, what they call community, it has tended to become more or less like, excuse me to say, brownish, and everybody can point to the fact that indeed the issue about Galamsey has gone to a point that if you are not careful as a country, we will destroy virtually every single water body that we have in this country. Under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, at no point that the European Union issue a threat and tell the good people of this country that indeed, at a point in time, if you don't deal with the Galamsey menace, we are going to stop the buying of your cucumbers. At no point was such a threat issued by European Union. So that thing must be stated in a statement of fact. Justice. You see, I listened to my brother, and I have said that this recent national dialogue, consultative dialogue, they put it, is nothing but just a mere talk shop. Reactionary, like we've seen in the past. This thing you are seeing today, I watched a video when the minister, to some journalists, to some regions, to inspect the waters and whatever. I listened to an account coming from one of the journalists from CTFM. He said, listen, the same thing happened when Peter Amewu, right? They boarded helicopter Peter Amewu to go inspect water bodies in Galamsey communities. And what he saw today is not different from what he saw when Peter Amewu was then the minister.
What did he say?
He said they were airborne, went to inspect some of the communities that were involved in Galamsey, and the nature of the water that he saw then is not different from what he saw today. So what he's simply telling you that this is not the first time journalists have been put in a helicopter to go and inspect communities that are involved in Galamsey activities. So the question is, when Peter Amewu carried journalists, they were airborne, inspect water bodies that have been polluted. Eventually, there were a lot of policies that were rolled out. And what are we seeing today? We have gone from bad to worse. And what I keep on saying is, the only reason why President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo and his political party, the NPP, came out with a policy to fight against Galamsey, per their own admission on video, is because the party needs money. Because they feel that Ghanaians are involved in Galamsey activities, and they want to take over concessions that belong to Ghanaians, they want to seize excavators that belong to Ghanaians, and give it to their party folks to engage in the same illegal activities.
Is the National Democratic Congress not also guilty of what you're accusing the MPP of?
Justice, there's no any evidence.
Are you saying that when you were in government, some of your officials were not deeply involved in Galamsey?
There's a difference between having people who are loyal to the NDC engaging in Galamsey, and different from when a political party made it a policy. A policy, admission by a sector minister.
How did they make it a policy?
When you have a sector minister like Professor Pimpon Boateng, admitting on video with a coalition who also happened to be the Central Regional Vice Chairman of the NPP, the ruling party, admitting in a video that indeed the reason why they decided to, to arrest Ghanaians to seize excavators was because John Bodu, who happened to be the General Secretary, said party Yesika, and for that matter, that is the only means of activity that we have to engage in to, to recoup a lot of revenue for the party. Unless you want to tell me that you've not cited that video. Unless you want to tell me that you've not heard the admission made by Korusi and Professor Pimpon Boateng. That video is there, and it's something that all of us can speak to. And another thing is this. Beyond even the admission on videos and the evidence that are bound, Professor Pimpon Boateng wrote to the Ghana CID headquarters, indicting the Kowebushi about the missing excavators. What has been done about it? As we speak, I listen to my brother talking about the fact that we've not made mention of any party faithfuls involved in Galamsey and what have you. You know Abronye. He's the chairman of the NPP in one of the Bono region. Is that not it? About 2 or 3 days ago, he sat on the national television. This is what he said. He said, the DC of Takwa then arrested the then Minister for Land and Natural Resources, Asumafo Treme, collecting money from people who engage in Galamsey activities. He ensured that the minister was arrested. When the minister was arrested and he was granted bail and he came to Accra, he lodged a complaint, and with the speed of light, that DC who arrested the minister who was involved in Galamsey activities, people who are engaged in Galamsey activities, was dismissed by the President of the Republic of Ghana. Who dismissed DC? Isn't that the president? And Abronia is telling us that because of the complaint that was made to the president by the then sector minister, who was caught red-handed collecting money from people who engaged in galamsey activity, the DC was dismissed. Does that not tell you that the president himself is complicit when it comes to galamsey activity? Because if a DC has arrested a minister, that DC needs what they call deserve an order of voter award. He should have been applauded, not the other way around, give him a dismissal because he has arrested a sector minister who is supposed to be in charge in fighting against the galamsey menace. As we speak, fast forward, even now that you are talking about the fact
Did you
that
verify that statement made by?
I am saying that this statement was coming from no mean a person, the chairman of the MPP in the Broadham region. He is the one that made this categorical statement.
It doesn't make it, you know.
And you know why I believe him? Why I believe him is this: there's an evidence to suggest that indeed the DC was dismissed. A DC who was fighting
It
against
could have been
galamsey.
dismissed on different grounds, not what Appiah has said.
The point is simple. This DC, we had instances. See, we have had a lot of issues in respect to why the DC was dismissed. He made allegations against the then sector minister. And today, Appiah is only coming out to confirm what we already know. The same Appiah as we speak, in spite of all this consultative dialogue that we are talking about, what do you call it, a sign of what we call it, breathing a new air, a new strategy altogether. He said, as we speak, when you go to Adanso Forest in the Obuasi, the current man in charge of monitoring and evaluation at the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources, working with Abu Jinapo, is engaging galamsey in the Adanso Forest. What has been done about it? And you see, when we talk about all these things that we are talking about, and now the impression is actually being created that, oh, the NDC is trying to make a political gain out of it. We are not trying to make political capital out of it. Indeed, the issue about destroying our water bodies, it affects everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're NDC or you're NPP. But when we are just simply saying that the president lacked the political will and the courage to go after his own appointees who have engaged in galamsey activities.
Are you able to, point out some of his appointees who were involved in this issue, in this galamsey issue?
Justice.
Who are those?
Justice. Professor, what do you call Frimpong Boate's son, Jojo Frimpong, was caught right there in the deep forest, engaging in galamsey activities.
Which of the forest?
In Obuasi, when you go to Obuasi, caught right here, involved. There were videos, there were pictures to that effect. As we speak, did you not see somebody like Charles Bishop taking bribe? Did you not see the video? And you see, what hurts me a lot is about the fact that all of a sudden, because it's President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who is the president of the Republic of Ghana, we want to change the status quo. A man who once upon a time told us that he believed in the Anas principle. The Anas principle is the modus of operandi that Anas used in exposing people who have engaged in a criminal activity. And that was the same strategy that Anas used in exposing Charles Bishop for collecting bribe. All of a sudden, you don't believe in that principle? Are you being consistent? Are you being honest to the good people of the Republic of Ghana? All the time, anytime there's an issue about corruption or your appointees engaging in an activity that undermines your integrity as the president, that in other way undermines even your fight against corruption, which you have to demonstrate as a head of state of this country, you don't believe in that principle. When we are talking about the fact that MPP members were engaged in galamsey activities, they said it's not true. Today, the excavators that we saw relative to the MPP National Women Organizer, you see how they've changed the narrative. Oh, he has a legitimate license.
Well,
do you know how many Ghanaians?
There has been a statement that that company has a legitimate concession.
A statement coming from who?
They were operating legally and all of that.
And I'm saying a statement coming from who? A statement coming from the...
A statement from the company.
From the company. So now we take what the company say, hook, line, and sinker, and swallow it. Because it's coming from a company that belongs to the National Women Organizer of the MPP. Do you know how many Ghanaians...
We are told she is the manager of the company, but not the owner of the company.
Do you know how many Ghanaians have legitimate licenses to engage in mining activities whose excavators has been bent? Who today, as we speak, they have seized the excavators, they've given it to their party faithfuls? As we speak today, they are unemployed. Some of them are bedready. Are they not Ghanaians? Is the NPP National Women Organizer more Ghanaian than those who excavators and concessions have been seized? So what kind of country are we building? That once it has to do with the NPP National Women Organizer, even when you listen to some NPP people, you know what they are saying?
What are they saying?
They say even their women organizer is not the only national executive of the party who is engaged in galamsey activities. And for them, the only reason why they went after her was because she decided to speak truth to power in respect to what the Minister for Road is doing. When he has deliberately...
Then I'll be stepping down.
When he has deliberately silenced some of the communities within the eastern region and focused on Chebi and its environment when it comes to road network development. According to this, is coming from some of the people.
I'll go to Mr. Isi pretty shortly, but I would want you to deal with this for me. Look, the issue of galamsey did not start today. It didn't start under this government. I quite remember under Professor Mills, former President John Dramani Mahama administration, some, Chinese were arrested in this country involving in galamsey and all of that. It tells you that the issue of galamsey has been with us, in fact, even when Professor Mills was in power. Now, what specifically did the National Democratic Congress do to prevent this situation when they were in government? You've also, ruled this country for, some time, and this situation was with us when we were in power. What measures did you put in place to make sure that we did not get to where we are today?
Justice. One interesting thing about galamsey and its glaring devastation on our land, it's not something that is abstract. You're a journalist, and I ask a simple question. During the era of Professor John Evans Atamos and President John Dramani Mahama, at no point did we witness this level of water pollution like we are witnessing today. At no
it doesn't
point,
mean that the problem wasn't there.
At no point did we witness an instances where appointees of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama were caught on video admitting that indeed the NDC as a political party has made it a policy that because we need money to prosecute an election, we have deployed our appointees to go for concession and engage in galamsey activities. And I'm saying that under this particular dispensation, we have seen it. Under this particular dispensation, we have seen an instance. It
doesn't take away the fact that when you were in government, this issue was there. What did you do? What measures did you put? Now, listen, what I'm basically saying is that this government can talk of, the interministerial, committee that was set up. They can talk of the task force formed to, fight this problem. The consultative meetings that are being held, bringing chiefs on board to make sure that we hold a consultative stakeholder meeting to look at how best this could be resolved. You can see that government is, of course, trying very hard to make sure that measures are put in place to curb this menacing situation. I'm saying that when you were in government, this situation was with us. What measures did you put in place, NDC, when you were in government to make sure that...
When the NDC was part, did you hear something like Operation Vanguard? That were going after people who were engaged in galamsey activities? I mean, under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. That to the extent that the NPP used it as a campaign too. Went to the mining communities and assured them that indeed when they come, they will regularize the galamsey activities. Unlike what was happening under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. That is why I am telling you that under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we will not see an instances where when you go to the Pride River, when you go to the Broom River, when you go to whatever river you can think of, that is closer to a mining community, that river has gotten to a point in terms of pollution that we have never seen before. And I'm saying that President John Dramani Mahama, that did not put his presidency on the line when it comes to fighting against galamsey. In terms of relativity, depending on how the water body was polluted, and I'm saying that what we are witnessing today, in spite of the fact that President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo assures that he's putting his presidency on the line, not knowing that all what he was engaging was empty rhetoric, was clear case of dishonesty. Because upon all the things that he says, when you see the cameras assuring the good people of this country behind the scene, at the headquarters of the New Patriotic Party, it was a different ballgame altogether.
Okay.
Because when they tell the
Step down for me.
When they tell the citizen, the kind of assurance they give to the international community, when they come to our quest and commitment in fighting against galamsey, when they come to the NPP headquarters, when they go to the AFEC meeting or whatever, National Council of Elders meeting and what have you not,
Kindly step down.
what they say is entirely different. Well, that is exactly what we are witnessing today. Because it was a deliberate policy by the NPP, by virtue of the fact that they need to enrich their party and acquire wealth in order to prosecute their election. They said, listen, party Yesika. And that is exactly what they did.
Right.
And that is the evidence that we are seeing as far as our water bodies is concerned.
Thank you so much, Dela, for your submission. Viewers, if you're watching us, you can send in your views, comments, and contributions on our WhatsApp / text line on 0544235984, 0544235984. Let me take the WhatsApp number again. You can send in your comments, contributions, and whatnot on our WhatsApp, number 0544235984, 0544235984. You can as well leave your suggestions, questions on our social media pages. We'll make a time and read all those. Those of you watching us on Facebook, please share the Facebook Live for other people to also get an opportunity to watch tonight's edition of the program. So if you're watching us on Facebook currently, kindly share the Facebook Live. Let me come to you, Mr. Esi. There's notable persons in your party. Persons like Honorable Kennedy Japan, persons like Abronya DC, have all accused some officials in your, government of engaging in galamsey and all of that. You have denied that no government official is involved in this. Are you saying that these notable persons in your party are lying?
Yeah, thank you, Justice. If a government has taken a decision, made it a policy decision to clamp down on illegal mining activities,
okay,
the lead member of the party knows some people to be a citizen and not a spectator, it's proper to report to the appropriate quarters for action to be taken with evidence. And so I don't want to be going with a hearsay. My brother was appropriated and reprobated. One, he said, Abronya said something, and it was factual. But when it came to Kate Jemfua, he said, why do you want to believe what Madam Kate Jemfua said? You see, Abronya's one, he's not double-checked it, but they are factual. He's dignifying them. And two, I'm surprised that DC arrested a minister of state and it was not a major news in this country. Surprised, even in London. In London, when a junior police officer arrested a senior officer for overspeeding, it was a world news. Then a DC arrested a minister of state for taking bribe, and it wasn't news in this country. Let's get serious, you get it? Because that minister, I know him. I know the minister, the former minister for lands and natural resources, now Ghana's ambassador to China. Okay? So, I know there was an issue between him and Appiah. I know. Okay, so that matter is a different matter. Maybe we'll have another platform to discuss those things. And so, if people have the engagement with that, that's a different matter. And it's, again, justice. If there are people in government that are involved, or in an MPP that are involved in mining, especially galamsey, I mean, let's make all the frantic effort to get them arrested. And so, if Madam Kate Jemfua, I believe it's a legitimate concession that they went to bed. Otherwise, if it was involved in illegal mining, I wouldn't have any problem with the burning of the machines. Okay? Because it is an illegal act. We had Kwakubu Ahi and Co saying they will allow the galamsey people to continue to do their work. Look, let me tell you, you asked him what JM did. JM gave up in despair. He threw his hands in the air. But one of the fine ministers, Yunusa Fuseni, had no choice but to also give up. Okay? That's it. I told you the thing with which they were fighting the thing. And when they got to Central and they saw one of their own in there.
Who is that person?
If you want to find out, find out.
No, these who are legislators. Tell us.
2 billion.
So Samuel Sampo and Inusa were very angry. Very, very angry. The rest will talk about it. So this issue, and again, the ANAS principle that he was talking about, look, people have challenged the ANAS. And again, the CID, ANAS was asked to bring the raw data to the CID. Look, the fact that you see me in a video, when I close, I say your boy and I'm
Are
free.
you defending Jasper on this platform?
No, what is the circle? If somebody is holding money, what kind of money is it?
What led to his resignation then?
No, what money was it?
No, because what led to his resignation in the first
please,
place?
I don't want to banter you. I say, go, put the pieces together. The police, they said, go to
If
the
he
police.
felt, they don't feel that he did not do anything, why did he resign?
No, so that it gives them, he doesn't want to interfere in any investigation. Okay? So that they can do
So you mean the investigations are not over? For him to be restored?
At that time, he said he was stepping aside so that they will do the other, because the fact that you see me in a video counting money doesn't mean I've taken a bribe. It doesn't mean so. Give all the primary documents, piece them together, and let's see. Because we had voiceovers. The person wants to let you hear what he wants you to hear. Okay, that's voiceover. Get the original thing and let's see the natural system that played out. Then you can make your judgment. Okay, so I thought the ANAS principle. I felt a certain woman. I said,
but nobody forced President Akufo-Addo to tell Ghanaians that he was going to use the ANAS principle in fighting corruption.
Oh, at that time, and later we saw when Kennedy and Japan challenged ANAS.
But ANAS principle is what we're talking about.
So
And
they
we
said,
don't do anything about it.
they said ANAS should take his things to CID. He took some to.
So which principle was he referring to before?
Prosecutor. Okay.
Which principle was President Akufo-Addo referring to?
Whether it was then, it's been challenged, and we know the situation. You can't just go and take a video of somebody and say that is the gospel truth. Somebody is challenging you that you have your own interest and you are doing things just to sabotage people. People who are, have been caught, according to Kennedy Japan, where bribes were taken and left off the hook. Okay, so these things have been happening. That's according to Ken. And he even proves that. Okay, and so go to the CID and put your raw data there and let's analyze it. That's what we are talking about. And this fight issue, look, the NDC gave up. What is good for us now is that the president is still determined to continue with the fight. We paid the price. We lost 2 major seats that we've never lost since we got into the Fourth Republic parliamentary dispensation from 96. We didn't do the 92, so 96. Prestia Huni Valley and then Upper Danger West. These are mining areas. We've never lost them, but we lost them now. Okay? It's a big price, and there are other places, if you go into it, mining this day, we lost the parliamentary seats. Okay? Because of the fight against Galamsey. There's a price we're going to pay. The president is prepared to pay, but together, let's see where we can succeed. Okay. And the last one, it is not true that water bodies were very bad. And the John
where were they?
Ankobra, I went to Ankobra. I went, the one, Takwade, this river, right? The one you cross to Takwade, yes. Before so.
Exactly.
No, very, like today. I went to, I told you I school in they were serious on our campus, around our campus, Waka State College. All the rivers were polluted. And if they regained their natural thing when we placed the 6 months moratorium on mining activities. Then when we lifted it, then things went haywire again. Okay? Going for justice. That's all. I'm happy the minister, the sector minister, the Honorable Abu Jinapon for Damangu, said there's a bipartisan understanding in Parliament. Okay? He said, in fact, members of Parliament are bringing very solid suggestions from both sides. And they've all shown commitment that we need to fight and win this battle. Okay? And so he's praised members of Parliament, even including Honorable Yunusa Fuseni, the former MP and former minister. And so let's all work together. The dialogue is ongoing. But the last one I'll say, Justice, is that the chiefs, you saw recently we had Otufuo speak on that matter. We had Otihini also speak on the matter. Let's get the chiefs seriously involved in as integral part. Otufuo says something which is good. that DCEs must be taxed, must be held responsible when mining, and I think that is a good thing we should look at. Okay, if you are the DCE for this area and there's mining activities going on, you cannot say you don't know anything about it, because you are the head of the district security committee, and so let's tax them without responsibility, so they support the teams that will be deployed into the area to fight the thing. Let's stop it. Otherwise, very soon, our water that we will need to drink will be serious. I hear the Jubilee face this thing. Some even import water from Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, and it's not the best for us. A Ghana water company is struggling to
can you step down?
Water
can you step
for
down?
all of us. Let's persist with the fight. Let's all support it and let's proceed. Those who want to do politics with it can go ahead and do politics with it.
Okay,
but so I think Ghanaian knows this government is committed and will succeed.
Steve Okofo says this host is asking a very it's an insult anyway, but I read it. He should ask himself why NDC government has been voted out twice since 2016. Ghanaians voted NDC out because President Akufo-Addo promised better governance. All right, thank you so much. Another person says, another stomach journalist. If the questions are not going the way you like it or you would want it, the accusations will certainly come, but I know ball. It wasn't news because the media is in the pocket of President Akufo-Addo. All right, somebody says, this Mr. Isiman is very annoying. Okay, thank you so much for your message. Hello, Mr. Host. Stop that hypocrite things and let the NDC man talk. You are talking, pretending like you're not in this country. Be citizen, not spectator. Speak the truth to power. Now we are not in NDC era. We are in MPP era. The responsibility to fight Galamsey is a responsibility on all of us, and we must demand accountability from the National Democratic Congress, because they've also ruled this country, and we must ask them the appropriate questions as to what they've done about the situation. Perhaps if they had done something reasonable about fights against Galamsey in this country, we might have not gotten to this point. So those questions are very relevant, and I'll continue to ask them. Nana Intema says, good evening. Ghanaians are going round and round, not realizing President Akufo-Addo in Opsis said he would not do away with Galamsey when voted into power. He got power and is increasing the operations of Galamsey. I think the president is fulfilling his promise of Meshemo Kina. All right, thank you so much for your message. He says, good evening, Pan-African TV. Please, I want you to tell the MPP man in your studio that NAPCO trainees are bleeding. What sin have we committed to agree to work under NAPCO as graduates for 700 Ghana cedis? Indeed, NAPCO is another level of university with no hope of getting permanent job at the end of a contract. We have worked for a number of months that we have not been paid. MPP communicators always talk heavily about NAPCO, which is far from the reality on the ground. The expiration date of the program is in close proximity, and the government is not showing any commitment to retain us permanently to appreciate our toil. Is that the change they preached about? Fix the country, fix the NAPCO trainee permanently. From Nanatichi in the central region. Good evening, Nanatichi. Thank you so much for your message. Good evening, Justice, and your panel. May Allah Almighty protect us from entering hellfire. I mean, the MPP man, why do you see white and say it's black? Almighty is waiting on Judgment Day. All right, thank you so much for your message. Kudos to General Mosquito. That's not what we are discussing here. I'm sorry. Ajambore Baba in Viamwasi says, Nanado and his communicators will always want to defend the rot. Ghanaians are wide awake and have seen the truth. The Akufo-Addo is pushing Ghana into a ditch. Fix Ghana. Hashtag. All right, thank you so much for your message. This one says, good evening, Justice. Great show. My regards to Delali Sowoko for his fantastic delivery. Frank Akpali in Kaswa sent in that one. Frank, thank you so much for your message. Good evening, Justice. No force can fight against an enemy with complex structure like the Galamsey. The military can only suppress the menace because Galamsey problems are purely poor governance issues the country is faced with over the past years. That one, I agree with you perfectly. This one says, good evening, Justice. So we have the men. Is that the men the MPP has been talking about? Chia, fix the country. Philip Saki in Mancro, thank you so much. This one says, good evening, Justice, and a fantastic evening to your panelists. I'm very impressed with the NDC chap. He is very factual and has exposed the criminal organization branded as government. I'm surprised people are asking the president to fix the country. Truth be told, the president is clueless. In fact, his vice is just as clueless as the president himself. He asked why a DC arrested a sector minister, and it didn't make the news because they have closed all the neutral news outlets. Where did the MPP national women get funds to purchase 9 excavators at an average cost of $300K? These are a pack of thieves robbing a nation. I am flight captain Nelson. Okay, I am flight captain Nelson of RAF base in Gibraltar, Southern Europe. Thank you so much. So he sent in this message from Southern Europe, and think he's a pilot or something. Just to stop pretending as if you don't know what is happening in the Galamsey issue. Was the problem the same when Mills and GM were in power? What has the measures you're talking about got to do with the fight today? Go to WhatsApp and you see 5 MPP names there. Stephen in Kwabenya sent in that one. Stephen, thank you so much for that message. This one says, good evening, Justice. The MPP man is doing well. Kuma in Sugankope sent in that one. Okay, Kuma, thank you so much. This one says, the army are harassing legal miners and extorting money from fully legal miners and not prepared to look at licenses and permits. Maybe because they can't. I'm sorry, can in Accra sent in that one. These are wild allegations, and I think that we must desist from that. Don't read my message, oh Justice. You don't read my message, so let me read it for you. Greetings, Justice. Regards to the incoming National Energetic Youth Organizer, Elikem. Elikem is on here. Justice, President Akufo-Addo to watch Ekwarusi, Frimpong Boateng, Charles Bisi to go free upon all the evidence shown to the entire nation. Tell me that he, the president, is having interest in the Galamsey activities. Schools are not having textbooks for 2 years, but the president sees nothing wrong with it. Nana Akufo-Addo is a scam in a... Sorry, I won't read that one. Never again. From Eja Dugan in Ejumako. Eja Dugan, I have read your message today, so I think we are good. I have a lot of messages. Let me... Good evening, Justice. This Galamsey Braha is denting this administration and making them unpopular, and also revealing they are super incompetent when it comes to the fight against Galamsey. They are fighting it indiscriminately, leaving their own people, which constitutes into corruption. Some years ago, they fought this same Galamsey and collected excavators, and 500 excavators had feathers to flew from this country, and today you are burning them and killing people in the bush. Is that the work of the security men who have been sent to curb this situation? God save Ghana. Posterity will judge us. Or Atidana Daniel from Asante Mampon. I cannot read all your messages. I can read all your messages, but let me come to you, Dela. We are wrapping up, but Dela, briefly on the issue of vigilantism, briefly on that.
Justice, the issue on vigilantism, you know, I have always said this, that there's one thing that I mean all the time I keep on talking about, that anytime I hear this issue about vigilantism and I look at the posture of the Christian Council, the Peace Council, and some section of journalists in this country that we have, the only thing that comes to mind is that profound statement made by one minister of the gospel, Martin Amola, during the post-Holocaust, during the post-Adolf Hitler era.
Okay.
When he appreciated the fact that during the time that Hitler, unleashed certain venom on the people of Germany, the Jews, I mean, religious leaders, trade unionists. He said something. He said they came for the trade unionists. I kept quiet because I wasn't one of them. They eventually came for the socialists. I kept mute because I thought I was not a socialist. Then they came for the Jew. I continued to keep quiet because, in my own estimation, I am not part of the Jew fraternity. Then eventually they came for me, and there was nobody to speak for me. This is exactly what is currently going on in this country. I listened to DCOP, Appiah. Just as my dad, may his soul rest in perfect peace, happened to be a police officer. I know what it means for somebody to rose through the rank and become a deputy commissioner of the Ghana Police Service. Narrating such a harrowing experience, the ordeal that he went through in the hands of this tax, state-sponsored tax, belonging to the NPP fraternity. And this once again exposed the NPP and the president as a very dishonest president. This once again confirmed what I keep on saying, the President Akufo-Addo, under the full Republican dispensation, has proven that he's the most insincere president we've ever had. A president who never believed any words that emanate from his mouth. A president that would assure the good people of this country that indeed I am committed in disbanding what they call vigilante groups and what have you. Not knowing apparently the president behind the scene is profiting from the activities of people engaged in vigilantism.
You equally have vigilante groups in the party.
Justice. You see, this posture is what is gradually sinking this country.
What posture?
The NDC as a political party, as we speak, point to me any member of the NDC engaged in an activity of vigilantism. A president of the Republic of Ghana who will give an assurance that called peace council, religious leaders to the table and ask them to disband political parties, to disband their vigilante groups. Outlets all the gory pictures or the gory scene that we saw.
This issue. Did you disband yours?
We disbanded even in fact at that point in time, NDC didn't have a vigilante that even existed in the first place.
If you didn't have, or if you don't have a vigilante party, why did you then go to the negotiating table?
The point is, we are discussing about peace of this country, for that matter. Once there's even a perception or an assumption, we're there to negotiate and deliberate on this issue. How do you feel as a journalist moderating this show, listening to DCOP, the way he narrated the story? You see, when a group of people belonging to the New Patriotic Party engage in vigilante activities under the guise of being a national security operative, to the extent that they went to this, the DCOP or Paris, told him that he's needed in Accra, handcuffed him, beat him to pulp, pointed at him AK-47 according to his own admission. Unless you want to tell us that a whole retired DCOP now doesn't even know how what they call AK-47 look like. To the extent that he was being ordered and instructed and being commanded against his own will. To the point that even when he decided to even visit the nature score, one of these young guys who can even be his son was ordering him around. And for the first time, he admitted that indeed this country is sitting on the ticking timing bomb. As we speak, those who created this monster have lost control of this very monster that they created. And when you listen to someone like Professor Koscielny, and the kind of gory picture, harrowing picture he painted, relative to the activities of this human, this tax, engaging in irresponsible activities, under the guise of being part of national security. And we sit down thinking that it's about NDC, NPP affair, forgetting about the fact that indeed all of us could become a victim of the kind of activity that they engage in. But you see, when I listen to a DCOP or Paris, I said something, indeed, come on, always know its exact address.
Okay.
Because this is a retired deputy commissioner of police.
Let's be stepping.
Being aware of the fact that this group has been disbanded, but he was still engaging them. And today, he came and admitted that when these people were taken to the police station, if he was to be the police regional commander, he would have detained them
But because of the powers that be, they were left off the hook. And now as we speak, he himself doesn't even understand what is happening to our security services. And you see, Justice, watch something very carefully. On the January 9, 2017,
you have to step down on that.
Yeah, I'm stepping down. ACP Nanka Bruce was attacked. What happened to the corporate? Kandahar boys attacked the CEO of the Kameletiti. What happened to them? You have an instance that Central Regional Security Coordinator that was attacked. We all saw the video where he was whisked out of his office, beaten to pulp, blood was oozing. What happened to the corporate? You have even April 27, Delta forces, Kumasi, they stormed the court premises. Not even the judge have to run for her dear life. What happened to those corporate, with those rulers? What happened to them? We see in this country, Justice, these invisible forces went to the eastern region, locked National Health Insurance Scheme's office, nothing happened to the corporate. We have an instance where these invisible forces threatened chaos over job in Tamale, nothing happened to them. You have an instances, they have not spared religious leaders, civil society, political leaders, and what have you done? MPs have had their shares, ministers have had their shares. Today, as we speak, even the National Security Coordinator have lost control when it comes to these operatives. And we sit down here, and the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, what we witnessed in Ayawasu West Wagon, these people dress in a national security t-shirt, and at the end of the day, we fail to administer justice to ensure that punitive measures were taken. ACP Azubu, or whoever they call him, per even the Emershot Commission, what was the directive? Today, had it not been what happened, the misfortune that befell what they call Kelly, were you aware that even Azubu was still operating in that capacity?
Step down for me.
But you see, I want to tell people like Azubu that this thing, you should listen to me. You saw what has happened to DCOP Ayesu. Once upon a time, he was a regional police commander. Today, he is a victim. Today, he felt that the system that they created, the monster that they created, that they are currently devouring them, to the extent that nobody can come to his rescue. That is hearing his
Thank you so much, Lola.
The same fate will befall someone like Azubu. It's just a matter of time. And I keep on saying, time is the mother of all vindication.
Thank you so much, Lola, for your submission. Mr. AC, kindly take us on. We have just some briefly on that, then we go.
The Vigilantism Act 999 of 2019, assented to by His Excellency the President on the 23rd of August 2019, is become law, which proscribed the activities of vigilantism and even extended it to land guardism, and all that, similar activities. And so we are to be careful. We know for a fact that some of these groups are affiliated to political parties. Today I read about 27 of such groups. And I didn't know my place one. I read as Amankesi Forces said. I was surprised. I didn't know about that. So let's all work. The crocodiles, the hawks, the Delta forces, the invisible forces, the Kandahar boys, the Bolga bulldogs. All these are prescribed now. And so if they are still operating, but the Constitution allows freedom of association. And so let's look at the activities of these people. And I'm serious.
There's one issue that came up is about politicians being behind some of these groups and all of that. How do we get the politicians to stop being behind these groups, to stop fueling these groups, to make sure that we disband them?
So that's where we need intelligence to be able to unearth those behind and the sponsor. Because if you look at the act, the sponsors are all equally guilty. Okay, they've even linked it to Act 29 of 1960, the Criminal and Seduction Act or something, right? And so it makes it criminal for you to be engaged, even a sponsor of the activities of these individuals. I was a bit seriously disappointed, not a bit, seriously disappointed when I heard that these same young guys went to Mahando, the Ashanti Regional Direct Coordinator for the
national security. The first time it was the same Ashanti region, and now again Ashanti region. In fact, when you sent the topics, I thought we were going to link it to the Galamsey issues as well. Okay, I'm beginning to have a feel that because when you listen to Ayenso Pariado, he's saying that they were requesting him to lax the system for them to get engaged in some mining activities, right? He said something like that. And so what it then means is that maybe there are some people who are engaged in mining who are the financiers of these boys. Okay.
We have to get going.
And if Pariado was able to identify, I heard him mention 4 names that he says he knows them. If indeed he knows them, I think we shouldn't relax. We should let the law take its course. Because unless, of course, you tell me they are national security operatives, but I thought he said they are members of the invisible forces, okay? And these are different from national security operatives, okay? I'm surprised they said there's an AK-47, because if they are private operatives, I don't see where they get a AK-47. Okay, so this issue of vigilantism, let's not let it go to sleep. Let's get back to it and see how we can put his activities down once and for all. Okay, they are doing positive things, fine. They can re-channel their energies into positive support of the economic growth of this country. But the things they are doing, to the point of even, you know,
let's get going.
Running a whole security coordinator for a region. We cannot go over that.
Let's
take action and punish the people who are
Thank you so much for your submission. We are so grateful. We'll do so time will allow us on the program. We'll get time with us same time tomorrow. My name is Appiah, and the show has been Hot News. Goodbye.